This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hello people. Um, think Deepak hasn't yet joined, but anyway, let's start the session. He'll join in between. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
So we can see that.
Sure, thanks. So today, as discussed yesterday, so today we'll be touching on the copy operator and the disaggregation operator and how we can create various application jobs and can we use those jobs to schedule the runs or run it on the spot. Um, so we'll see those topics today, and from tomorrow we'll start with the demand planning module. We'll start with all the demand planning, functionalities in IBP. So first is these operators, copy operator and disaggregation operator. They come in real handy when we do when we actually come up with a process. Um, in any kind of a planning process. For example, we have seen the maintenance planning process. So usually there would be the data would be copied from one key figure to another key figure, and for various reporting purposes, and uh, you know um, and also to transform the levels between the key figures. So we'll see that in a while. So copy operator and disaggregation operator. So we have to first create those operators. We have to specify some parameters on how that operator has to work. And the second thing is we have to assign these operators to the planning areas that we decide to run these operators on. That's the second thing. And third thing is the planners from Excel sheet, they can run those operators. I mean, just like the way we used to run the heuristics and optimizers from the Excel planning view, that just go to the advanced button there and pick up the type of operator that you want and pick up the the actual operator profile or operator name, and then you can run it, and you can run it interactively. Put some filters, like copy operator, you're copying from one key figure to another key figure, you know um, put a filter and just run it only for a particular brand or for a particular product family, and you can do that. The second thing is you can also run it from the web UI, so you need not be on the Excel planning views, right? So if I mean if you're just playing with your tablet, you want to plot some charts and you want to verify some key figure data, so you can very well go to this application jobs app, run the job, verify the status of it, I mean in the application job, or you can actually go to the application logs and see how that is getting processed. Once it is done, you can go back to your analytics charts, and then or maybe alerts, and start using the updated values, and do all your reportings and stuff, right? So from both the interfaces we can actually schedule the jobs. The first thing is the copy operator. Hmm. So let's see some theory. I have mentioned some theory here. Has Deepak joined yet? Nope, that's fine. So copy operator is primarily used to copy calculated or stored values from one key figure to a stored key figure in the same version of a planning area. So you see, the copy operator will work within the planning area. So test config is our planning area, and you have a multiple key figures over there. You can you can copy the data between one key figure to another key figure, but not between the planning areas. Second thing, you cannot copy between the versions. Like we have calculated the final available capacity in upside version, let's say. Now if you want to copy the value from upside version to the base version on the same key figure, not going to happen. You have to do it through the version copy, but not with the regular copy operator. The second thing here, if you observe that, the source key figure could be a calculated one or it could be a stored one. So usually it would be calculated, right? I mean, we want to obviously copy the calculated values. So, and it would be copied into a stored key figure, and stored key figure only. This is our target. Okay. The second thing is, in addition, it can create any missing time periods for the target key figure and assign an empty value to them. It can be also used to clear key figure values. This copy operator can also be used to clear the key figure values. We also have a purge operator, but we can also use the copy operator to clear all the values that are there inside that key figure. So if you want the copy operator to be applied for version specific key figures, both the source and the target key figures must be added to the version, right? So I mean, you can very well copy the calculated final capacity to the final available capacity, and both are in the upside version, and you can very well create a copy operator for it, and then you can run in the same version but not between the versions. So the copy operator can work between the key figures that are there inside the same version. So key figure can be copied only if the source key figure can be calculated at the base planning level of the target key figure. So this is another important point, guys. So for example, you see there is this key figure one. This is our source and this is our target. Key figure one is prod lock customer level. Key figure two is at product and location level, and you wish to copy from here to here. So now what this is saying is that the key figures can be copied only if the source key figure, that is this, can be calculated at the base planning level of the target key figure. What is the base planning level of target key figure? Product and location. And whether system can do a calculation at the product and location level? Yes. How it can do that? It can simply aggregate and then can copy it, right? So but if it is like product, resource, and something as maintenance job, then key figure 1 and key figure 2, this operator will fail, because the target key figure is at product location level, but whereas the source key figure is at a product, resource, and maintenance job. So hope you're getting it. So now I'll put an example so that it might makes more sense to you. Product. So let's say there is a key figure called as a customer shipments. Okay. So how much is been shipped to a customer? So DC1 is shipping to Amazon. DC1 is shipping to Best Buy. DC2 is sending to Amazon, Target Store. So now this is our key figure, customer shipments. It is saying that how much of the stock has been moved from a location to a customer. So now I have another key figure that is called location shipments. So that is at product location ID. And somehow this custom key figure I have created to have some visibility on how the locations are, you know how much of the stock is moving from the location. So let's just say that these are the mm, custom key figures which we are using it for um, some reporting purposes, let's say. So now I have these combinations. So now how, if you, I mean, if I ask you like what would be the value of the location shipment from SKU for SKU XYZ to DC1,
Yeah,
so what the value would be?
300.
Yes, exactly. So
Two.
and here it's
Two to
just 2
three.
to 2. I mean, yeah, it's a simple basic mathematics, but the key here is that this is our target key figure. This is the source key figure. Target key figure base planning level is product and log. Now what system checks is that can the source key figure be calculated at the base planning level of the target key figure, which is product location? Yes, it can do. It can just do a simple aggregation and can just copy the source values to the target key figure values. So this is example that and let's configure this, and also let's create the operator, and then then run it, and we'll see it. So now next see the theory. So the copy operator calculates values of the source key figure at the base planning level target key figure for all possible combinations and updates the target key figure values. So here the possible combinations is SKU XYZ, DC1 and DC2. System does the calculation and then copies the values. Values are calculated based on the calculation configuration, so the way we specify it there, so it just does it. So like, I mean, in the source key figure, if you say the aggregation is average, then system does an average, and then here system would do the average is 150, so system puts up value 150 here and 111 here. So it depends upon the kind of aggregation that we mentioned for the source key figure. So obviously it also reads the basic structure of the key figure, and then it does the calculation accordingly. So that's the thing about copy operator, and the copy operator comes in handy when as I told that when there's a lot of calculation happening in one key figure, and then you want to transform those values into other key figure. Usually, all the like supply planning key figures. So we used to use these copy operators because we want to populate those values based on some calculation happening, like capacity supply, or it could be inventory stocks, or etc etc. So we want to do all the calculation in another key figure, copy the value into the supply planning key figures, and then run the optimizer from there. So yeah, so these are the parameters that we can use when configuring the copy operator. The first is source underscore kfid, and we have to follow this naming convention very strictly, otherwise system cannot read the parameter that we have entered. Source key figure id 1, this is a mandatory for copy. You have to have this parameter in your operator when you're creating an operator, and it is optional if you want to create the missing time periods for the target key figure. So for example, you want to create some time periods for the key figure, then you don't even use this source key figure parameter. target key figure, what is a target key figure? And then also there is this n that is mentioned. So what I'm trying to say here is, like, let's take the same example of the supply planning run. So there are multiple inputs, right? We have seen there is this demand input, capacity input, what available capacity, what is the demand that has to be met, what is the inventory targets that has to be met. Let's just say that these three inputs are there, and there is some calculation already happening to come up with these values. The demand planning team is running their algorithms, statistical forecasting, adjustments, promotion adjustments, etc. And finally coming up with one value which they are interested in. But as a supply planner, we are interested in another key figure that is called consensus demand. Majority of the times, the demand planning team might not populate this value called as a consensus demand, because that's an input for supply planning which they might not be interested in. They will be satisfied with another key figure which was created for their own planning purposes. So we have to come an agreement, we have to identify what is their final resultant key figure, and then somehow do the calculation and then copy them into our consensus demand. Same for the capacity, supply available capacity, same for the inventory targets. So now you don't have to create three different copy operators for it. You can run all three copies in one single copy operator, and then you have to specify like this: source underscore key figure id 1, target key figure id 1, that is one set. Source underscore key figure id 2, target underscore key figure id 2, that is a second set. Third set, fourth set, you can put any sets that you want, and then also give the offsets and then how many durations, etc. And then give a logical name to it, like copy supply planning inputs, and then run that operator. So it just copies all source key figures from all source key figures to all target key figures. So yeah, so that's a thing with this key figure id n.
What is the key figure ID? Okay. Like,
It's just a name. I mean,
oh,
yeah, that's a parameter name which IBP understands.
okay.
And we have to actually, populate the actual key figure ID also there. So we will see that in a while. So next to the period offset, offset related to the current period. If this parameter isn't specified, it defaults to 0, in which only values in the future buckets are copied. If you want to copy values in the past, specify a negative offset. If you say -5, system looks for the planning levels of the source and target key figure. So if it is in weeks, then system thinks that it is past 5 weeks. If you mention 5, that means it thinks that it is, I need to go back, I need for 5 weeks into the past, then also copy the past 5-week values, including the future horizons. The duration is for how many periods you want to copy, maybe copy it for 1 year, etc. Clear underscore kf underscore values is for clearing all the target key figures and then setting them to null. So now let's get back to the system and then try to configure one.
Well,
Yeah, please.
quick question on the period offset. If you go to the previous page, um, can we copy the week to the months and months to the week? Suppose if I have in a high level on a monthly demand, monthly, and when I'm copying, I would like to copy to the week level. I would like to push it to the weekly level. Can I do that?
Yes, we can do that. But it will go with this simple, the
Algorithms,
actual
yeah.
core logic that key figures can be copied only if the source key figures can be calculated at the base planning level of the target key figure. The example that you mentioned, it will definitely work, but the vice versa will not work. If the key figure 2 is in yearly level, uh,
Mhm.
no, I mean, if let me think about it for a moment. Yeah, if let's say if this is in years, the key figure 1 is in years, and if this is in months, then this will not work, because system will have values for 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, but the key figure 2 is asking values for January
For
2019 and yeah, so then this will not work. In that case we have to go for the disaggregation operator because we are
okay,
disaggregating the values. So yeah.
okay, thank you.
So let's go with the same example that we have seen. Let's create some key figures and then schedule the go to the configuration. I'll just create the key figures that we just talked, customer shipments and location shipments. And also actually if like if the requirement is if the real requirement is actually to view the data from a location standpoint, that how much has been shipped, then we don't have to actually have to create another key figure and then do the aggregation. So if the same key figure, if you view at a location level, system does the aggregation. I mean, we know it. System does the auto aggregation and just shows the 300 here for DC1, 222 for DC2. System does that. The name might be misleading because the key figure name is saying customer shipments. Mm, So if we can come up with the standardized general naming convention, that the planner can very well view the data at two different levels. How much has been shipped to the customer and how much has been shipped from the location, etc., etc. But if the real requirement is that it's like two teams are working on it, or maybe we can actually use the requirement is to use the location shipments, which is actually at product and location level, and then multiply it with some other key figures which is also at prod lock, and finally deduce another key figure, some revenues or some reporting, etc., etc. Then yes, we have to actually transform these values to another product location level and then further utilize it for some other requirements. So if it is like a simple requirement that the user is just interested to see the key figures values both from a customer perspective and also from location perspective, there is need not unnecessarily we don't have to create another key figure. So yeah, it's a thing. So I'm creating a new key figure. As usual, we have spent a lot of time on the key figures. Create new. Just I'll go a bit fast here. Normal key figure, I'll give test copy. So I'll just give a same something like this. It's called weak prod location customer. I will not touch anything. I'll make it as a stored key figure so that I can manually punch in some values. Mm, and I'll say that this is all editable. Um, and I'll make at the request level that this is stored. I think by this time you guys might have been comfortable with marking a key figure, whether it's a stored or a calculated, and etc., etc. Please recap on the other videos that we have discussed. So this is my source key figure. I also configure a target key figure. It's called location shipments. And after this, we'll touch base on the disaggregation and also create some key figures for the disaggregation, and then z test copy target, and this would be just at a weak prod lock. I'm making both as a stored. So otherwise, we can also make the source key figure as a calculated one, and then we can use that calculated key figure as a source. But we have already seen the calculated key figures and how to write calculations and how to use that for these operators. So yeah, so we have configured both the key figures, and then we'll create operator after this. Let's come to the disaggregation operator now. So the
Do we
name
have to
itself
do
is
that to the, sorry, Venkat, do we have to
yes.
assign to the same version, these two key figures, as you said in the description?
Yeah. So I mean, if let's say if we, I mean, this key figure is created. So first we have to make this as a version specific key figure. Okay, for that we have to go to the versions here, and then we have to make them make these two key figures as a version specific key figure, right? So if I come to the test config in the downside version, it lists all the associated key figures, but I'll want to select all available key figures, and then here I'll say z test. So these are the two key figures that we just made, and then these are all are grayed out. That means this has not been extended to the downside version. So this key figure will not have any values in the upside version or downside version. It will not even list these key figures when we are viewing the upside version dataset.
Okay, so it will be
Okay.
only there in the baseline key figure as a default.
Exactly, exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
thank you.
So
Thanks.
if we want to do some planning in the upside version and then do a copy and then analyze all the stuff, then second step is make this as version specific key figures. Third step is load some value for the source key figure in the base version. And when you're running the copy operator interactively, you have to specify that run this operator only for the upside version. Then system
Okay.
copies only the source key figure upside, I mean that version value into the target key figure same version. So but between the versions it is not possible, as I mentioned. So for that we need to go with the version copy functionality itself, like yesterday we have seen, right, how the data can be moved between the versions and etc.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So next is a disaggregation operator. Disaggregation, the name itself is saying, like, from a higher level or maybe from one level, we are disaggregating to another level. So this comes, this is even more handy, and then this we can actually use for almost for majority of the complex scenarios. So we see here, as usual, this is target, this is the source. Now if you see, the key figure 1 is at prod customer level, the key figure 2 is product location level. So now I want to copy this one into this. If I use copy operator, it will fail. Why? Because the base planning level of target key figure is at prod lock, and the source key figure doesn't have a calculation methodology to actually calculate the source key figure values at prod lock, which is a base planning level of the target key figure. Okay, so that's why we cannot use this for that requirement. We cannot actually use the copy operator, but instead we have to come to the target key figure. Okay, I think I mentioned the same here. You see, this is second point note. Disaggregation works even if the source key figure cannot be calculated at the base planning level of the target key figure. But this is the underlying rule for the copy operator, right? So this is a prod lock system should know how to calculate the source key figure, that is key figure 1, at prod lock level. So in the customer shipments, it knows how to sum up at from a location perspective, and then it copies it. But whereas with the disaggregation here, if you see, this is highly impossible for the copy operator to handle, because key figure 2 is at prod lock, source is at broadcast. So now how system will deal? If I write a disaggregation operator, and if I specify that I want to copy this, then what system does is system first aggregates it to the product level and then transfers these product level values to the key figure 2 at the product level, and then it further disaggregates to the product location level. Let's go with an example. Okay, in the customer source master data, we have seen this master data, right? So this is the customer ID. So let's just say that we don't have any supply planning algorithm with us. We just our we'll do the entire. We are utilizing the IBP just for the control tower reporting, fancy charts, alerts, etc. We have demand planning in scope. We do an extensive demand planning activity, but not yet the supply planning. But let's just say the requirement is just to have some visibility about what would be the demand for on a particular location. You are calculating the demand at a customer level, which is fine, but I also want to have some projection, some sneak peek onto the location level, that what could possibly be the the demand at a location level. So that's a requirement. So now let's say here the customer is Amazon. Like, I'm going with the same example here, the one that we've seen, DC1. The product ID is the SKU, and then it's Amazon DC102, and then this is only time 2. So the key figure is the final customer demand. The product is SKU, the customer is Amazon. This is 1000, and the product is SKU. The location is DC101, DC102. So now the key figure here is, let's say that let's say location demand is the key figure. Just to give it. So the demand planning has done their part. They came up with a value for customer demand key figure. The value is 1000 for a customer Amazon for the product SKU. Now I want to transform these values. I want to copy this product customer values into the location demand values. And so as per this fancy diagram that I've kept here, so what system does is, system from here, let also say like Best Buy. There's also this other customer, like 400. So now what system does is, system aggregates it to the location level. Now let me internally what happens, I'll just show it to you guys. So first what system does is, it will aggregate it to the product level first. So what would this value become internally? This becomes 1500 based on the aggregation method that I said. So now this 1500 from here will be sent to here. Now system does the disaggregation 1500 to the DC101, DC102 based on the disaggregation expression that I have maintained. If I say it as a proportional, then here this would get 750, this would get 750. Okay, this is how it happens. You guys have followed it?
Yes. And if you have an allocation, like you can give the weightage, percentage, and
Exactly. Yeah. I'm coming there because I also saved the topic of disaggregation expression till here, so that it makes more sense. So in the key figure, this calculation, so there is this disaggregation expression right here. So we can use this field, and with this we can specify to the system that you disaggregate based on the expression that I'm giving. So we can leave a key figure here, so system does it as per the the values that are maintained here. For example, I want to disaggregate based on another key figure that is called location shipments. So here I have another thing, right? I mean, okay, forget about this. This location shipments is not yet product location. I mean, or maybe use this only. It's a big deal. I want to give a cleaner example, but that's fine. So if I have these values here, if this is 100 and this is 200, then the proportion is 1:2. So the DC one would get mm, 500, and this would get the 1000. So where we specify it, I mean, we'll see it. Now I'll configure. Let me also configure the key figures for the disaggregation also. This is customer demand. I'll say customer demand. This is at week. Okay, sorry. Week broadcast. I'll say this is source disag key here. This is stored. Let's just say that this is stored. And the target key figure z test disag so lock demand, and this is at week prod lock. Target disag key figure. This is location demand. Control C, Control V. Stored. Making it a system editable. Now here I'm writing the disaggregation expression. This should always disaggregate based on the z test copy target. So this is our key figure, right? So I mean, this is a key figure which holds the location shipments. And here, if you have observed that I'm just giving an expression of the technical name of the key figure, but not the planning level. Okay, the activation got failed. Let's see why it got failed. This is error. You can also go and put a filter here, severity error. Okay, calculation. Z test disag location request must be stored or calculation must exist. Okay. Okay, it is saying the disaggregation
That key
expression is
figure was not activated, right, earlier? Like, you just created those two key figures and saved it.
yes, yes, yes.
It was not activated.
You're right.
Can I ask a question, Venkat? During the activation, this takes some time.
Yeah, yeah, please go on.
So you are configuring everything in the system, right? Suppose in the production environment, so we are already in the production. If these requirements keep coming, you do directly this in a production, or you, if it is any new key figures, yeah, definitely would like to do it in the development and then transport to the production. But all these, like, copy, disaggregation, all these things, you do it directly in the production, or you do it in the
No,
development and move it.
in the development, we'll never ever touch the production version.
Okay.
So I think few Srinivas has asked the same question some time back. So we always take so there would be only two environments: production environment and the development environment. So we take a backup of the production planning area (PRD), and then we'll keep the entire config as it is.
We can discuss this some other time. I don't want to divert the topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just this is a PRD planning area. Okay. We always take a backup of it, a complete backup, no change of whatsoever. So so this is a demarcation between, this is production and this is this thing. So this is not almost, it is completely same as what we have built for this thing. So now what we do is we take, so this is our golden config. So we always do a planning area copy from this to this. So whenever a new change is coming in, so we'll do everything either in the golden config, or maybe if you don't want to touch the config also here, you can come in the dev config. So if so I have listed 100 key figures are there. There's a requirement for 101 key figure, or maybe change the calculation of like 95th key figure. So we'll come here, we'll test everything here. Once this is fine, we'll test everything. If this is working fine, then come back to golden config. Yes, they all are four different planning areas. Yes, Srinivas, you're right. So come back to the golden config, and then change the 95th key figure calculation, activate it, and also do a test in the golden config with the real-time data that, with the data that you have. This is a dev environment, and make sure that this is working in the golden config properly, and then do a copy of this to a product backup, and now do a transportation, transport entities from backup to the PRD. So that's how it has to be done. That's what the best practice is also, and that's what SAP recommends. We should never touch the PRD environment, because we never know. Well, we might think that this is just a simple key figure change, but that might have a domino effect on other connecting entities. So I'm coming here to the lock demand. So first it is saying that you mentioned this is a stored, and if you have read the error saying that if you mentioned that this is as a stored, but you haven't selected at the request level it as a stored. If you haven't selected this, then system thinks that, okay, this key figure at this level, it is not stored. Fine, then it might be having some calculation. Then system tries to read the calculation logic that we wrote, and there is also no calculation logic. Then system goes crazy, and it thinks that, okay, now how will I populate these values? throw an error. So that's error comes in. So I'll come here and I'll make this as a stored. Okay, save it. Now this time the disaggregation expression, I'll write it properly. I just and then it need not be active. The disaggregation expression, the key figure that I'm using in here, this need not be active. So I've done it some time back. I'm not sure how this would work. Let's see. Okay, okay, let's do a check now. Target for check config check. I don't need to think this. So check is, as I told earlier, the check is a much faster one. It just checks all these integrities and the consistencies across the planning area. It will just finished in a minute, whereas activation will take 4 or 5 minutes, depending upon the size of the planning area. Okay, it further got failed. The check also, the sub area check, it got failed. Let's see why it got failed. Okay. The Z-test disag location demand use double quotes for key figures or attributes. Please check the validity of the disaggregation expression. You guys got it right. The disaggregation expression that I used, it is saying use double quotes. So intentionally I kept this without double quotes just to show it to you guys. Saving it. Checking it again. I think this time this would work. Take out the filter for severity error. Checking data consistency, checking the relationship between the model entities. Check is successful. Now I can go and activate it. Okay, while this is activating, so in here in the advanced, in Excel planning view, in the advanced, the operators are listed here. This is where you select copy and disaggregate. This is copy operator. And also another thing, I just want to show it to you, that we can use the disag operator to copy the data between the planning areas. So like I have created test config and I can also create a test DRP planning area, right? So I can transfer the data from one planning area to another planning area. If we have let's say in our landscape that for demand planning activity we created one planning area and supply planning we did it at another planning area. So the release of these data points from demand planning to supply planning, from one key figure in the demand planning area to another key figure in the supply planning area. So to release that, we can actually use this disaggregation operator, and then also specify use these parameters called source underscore PL area and target underscore PL area. Okay, let's create the operators. The operators are not not dependent on any planning area. until and unless we specify it. Okay, so to create the operators, this will take some time, another 2 minutes, but let's not wait. So in the overview, start here in the miscellaneous settings, come to the manage planning operators. So this is where we specify the operators here. So we have these copy operators. The name is of a copy. And then these are the operators that were already there are 74 operators that were created for the copying, so many, and they're getting used across the planning areas that are there. So now I'll create one operator for the first example. You remember copying the customer shipments to the location shipments. So I'm coming here. I'll make this with simple. I'm giving copy customer shipments to log. Okay, give the name, description, interactive mode. That means you can run it from Excel sheet or not. Yes, interactive mode. Batch mode, whether you want to run it as a batch job through application jobs, etc. Yes. Filter mode, whether you want to run it with applying filters for a particular product ID, for a particular customer, particular brand. Yes. And define the parameters here. Click on this hyperlink. Now it just opens up a pop-up. Here we have to give the parameter name and the parameter value. So I'm click on plus. That comes up with the first parameter. I'll give source underscore key figure ID 1. The name is just z test copy source. Think is this? Yes, z test. Let's copy this here. Click on other plus. Target key figure ID 1. It's target. This could be as simple, just give source key figure, target key figure, that's it, done. I mean, not like the duration and period offsets, etc. We can very well give, just made it as a simple. So just click on save. This gets saved. Our system auto assigns a unique ID to it in the sorting order. 10073 is our ID. Now I need to go and map this to our planning area. Okay. Now let's see what happened to our planning area. Got activated successfully or not. And when assigning it to a planning area, usually if we change anything, it would disturb the entire planning area, right? So but whereas when you are actually assigning an operator, it will not deactivate the planning area. The status would still remain as active. So in that way, it's like SAP has given some some leniency to us. Otherwise, like we'll be keep on creating these copy operators. We want to play between the key figures. So every time we assign this operator to a planning area by disturbing its kind of a structure, then if it gets deactivated and then again we have to run an activation job, imagine like what would be the effect of it. Like we have to change it to keep on. So this is still taking time. Let's go and create the disaggregation operator, right? Also, right? So disag, you see this? Click on disag. There are 70 operators that were created. Clicking on plus, creating a new operator. Scroll down. You see our ID without a name description, and give the name. It's a disag uh, disag customer demand to lock. disaggregate customer demand to location demand. Okay, fine. Again, all these are same. Now define parameters. Again, source key figure, target key figure, source underscore KFID1. So what is our source key figure? Okay, this is the one. Z-test disag cust demand is our source key figure. I think this is log demand. Let me just verify. Yes, this is a log demand. Okay. And there is another mandatory attribute that we have to give for the disaggregation. So I've given whether it's a mandatory or not, just like the way in here copy, whether it's a mandatory or optional. So attribute n, the aggregation value is the level at which the source key figure is read and copied to target key figure before disaggregation takes place. That is a mandatory. And we have to specify at least one attribute for the aggregation level. So in this example, what is the aggregation level that is happening here? Product ID is aggregation, right? From here, prod cust, it is going to the prod level and then doing a copy. So before the disaggregation happens here, system has to first do an aggregation. So the aggregate level we have to maintain. So that is what is mentioned here. The aggregation level is the level at which the source key figure is read and copied target before disaggregation takes place, and this is a mandatory, right? So we can give any aggregation levels, so depending upon the key figures that we're playing in. So right, so and then the other attributes like filter underscore attribute, where this was for filters, like you can copy this operator only for a filter. So the same is also there for copying. So I mean, in the operator configuration itself, you can specify a copy operator with a particular filter. For example, let's say there is this demand, again copying from customer to location. It is copying, let's say you have two lines of businesses, one is mobile phones and then one other is a laptops. So mobile phones, you can create one copy operator just for the mobile phones, like copy mobile phones demand. And then there is the interactive filter is anyway there, but what if the planner is not using it, or maybe if he accidentally forgets it while running the copy operator? So to restrict in the config itself, we can use this thing called filter underscore attribute n, and then give the values. So next is the period ID and period offset. The source ID, source underscore KFID1, target underscore KFID1. I mean, you guys can go and type it in the Google's. You will also get a more detailed, theory and stuff regarding this. Okay. So what's the other mandatory thing that we just seen? Attribute n. Come here, this click on plus, adding a new parameter, attribute 1, that is PRD ID. Saving it. So I hope the activation is done. Activation is successful. Great. Now go back to the planning area and details. So where do we assign the operators? In the planning area and details page. So there is this planning operator. So this is where we assign our operators. Test config is in active status now. In the planning operator, click on this. System by default lists all the assigned ones. Click on the available planning operators. Then system lists all the operators that are already there. So this is copy. Scrolling down, copy customer shipments to location shipments. This is our one, right? And again under the disag, so this, you see, this is still active. Let me click on this and then verify whether copy customer shipments to this thing. This is fine. I haven't yet added the disag operator. Copy to, not this, where is this disag, right? It would be somewhere on the, where is our disag? Disag customer demand to the location demand. Click on OK, save it. Now we have assigned, we created the operator, we assigned that to the planning area. Now only thing remaining is to run them. Logging back into the planning area to see the data changes. So let's maintain some values for all our source key figures so that we can process our copying and can verify the results accurately. There is weak prod location customer, right? The first key figure that we talked. Where is it? Weak prod lock customer. Yeah, this is a one. Weak product location customer. Edit mode. Source key figure customer shipments. And before that, we need to know the, okay, we have the combinations available here. So let's pick up from here. So let me filter on a, I think we are dealing with S12, I think, right? I hope we have some, it doesn't have multiple locations connected to it. Let me check on this. Does it have multiple locations? Yes, it has. So let me copy this. Okay, it's already there, right? So I'll give 1,000 here and then 1,000 here. So Best Buy, I'll give 2,000 and 1,000. Saving it. So now this is our source key figure. This is just for simple copy operator. The source key figure is at customer location product, and there is a target key figure that is location shipments. And if I run a copy operator, how the calculation will work? System reads the base planning level of the target key figure, that is location shipments. Base planning level is prod lock. System comes to the source key figure. System does the aggregation, and system will see that NI DC101, NI DC101, that is 1,000 plus 2,000, it becomes 3,000. And SI DC101, SI DC101, it is 2,000, and system copies those values into the target key figure. So this saving is done. I'll also maintain for the for the disaggregation So I think we talked about this, right? You can click on new sheet, and start populating the values. So I'll deal with the same product, so that's why I kept that there. So now the DSAG is from week broadcast. Edit mode, pick up the time profile. There is a source DSAG, customer demand. The requirement is to transform the customer demands to the location demands. So what is this is our product, D-Watch B, digital watch, black color. So we have Amazon and Best Buy. Now I'll give some values like here 500 and 750. Just giving the small values. Okay, we have populated both the source key figures. Now going back here, planning view, just bring up those. Source key figure, customer shipments, target key figure, location shipments. Okay, go to the next tab. Customer ID. And now here I'll open the DSAG. Source, target, and the multiplier, or the proportion or the disaggregation expression, that is our location shipments. It is saying there's no filter. It's fine. I think we should keep a filter, so that would make our jobs easier. Otherwise we'll see a whole lot of cluttered here. So D-Watch B, quick edit planning view, filter on this attribute. This is D-Watch B. Okay, again, too many customers. Again, filter on Amazon and Best Buy. Amazon and Best Buy. See, 1000 and 2000. D-Watch B, NIDC 101, Amazon, Best Buy. This DC is sending to both the customers. It has shipped 1000 and 2000, so total 3000 is what so is there. So now if I run a copy operator, it copies these values and pastes it in the target key figure, and which is actually only at product and location. Our customer ID is none because that was not planted there. Go to the run here, copy operator. See the first one, it's a radio button. You can run only for one. Copy customer shipments to location shipment. This is a one. The second is we can give a time period, run it for a particular horizon, and you see the versions here. So if I run it only for the base version, it will kind of a fail, says that these key figures are not version specific key figures. So the base version is what I want to run in. And also we can run these copy operators in the scenarios. You remember that we can create multiple scenarios, and scenarios in ad hoc one, it's an ad hoc data set. You can create multiple scenarios, and every scenario will have a different data set. You can share this scenario, and now if you're you can actually create a scenario and then run your copy operator only for a particular scenario. Like here, postponing the targets is our scenario or something like that. Okay, that option is also there. There's also another button called filter. You can come here and then you can use the planning filters that are configured already. Pick up the digital watch, system will display everything here. Or if you want, you can also create a new attribute and pick up the customer ID and then run it only for that. Okay, clicking on next, give a reason code and then give a comment, share it with your jam group, click on run. This got scheduled. You can go into the status under the advanced group status, Check the status of what? Check the status of copy operator. Click on copy operator. And the first one is there here. Finished. Close it. So you see here this 1000 got come here, and then system did the copying by doing this aggregation. Now let's run the disaggregation operator. Okay, let's also keep some filters here. Product ID. Or go to the edit view. Just copy it. Filter copy from sales forecast target. Copied. Now first we'll understand the source key figure. The source key figure, source disag key figure, customer demand, which is digital watch black color for Amazon customer is 500. Best Buy demand is 750. Now I want to transform these customer demands onto the location level. So system does the disaggregation. I mean, we talked about it, right? System first, what it does, system aggregates it to the product level. So the aggregation is 1250. It got aggregated. Now it has to split 1250 between these two locations, NIDC 101, SIDC 101. So now there is this location shipments also based on this system would disaggregate, and the proportions would be like, you know, 3000, 2000. So accordingly system would do the split. Now running copy and disaggregate figure. Where is the disaggregate customer demand to location demand? So time period selection is not possible because I didn't give a time period there. So now this would fail. Disaggregation, we need to give a time bucket. Status copy and disag. The schedule. Let's see whether this would work or not. Yes, as I said, it got failed. Why it got failed? Because for disaggregation expression, the time period is a mandatory one. See error. Specify either the parameter period ID or period name. We are dealing with weeks. We have to specify it in the weeks. I think I have mentioned the same in here also. See here, disaggregation operation parameters, period ID, technical ID of the time level, either period name or period ID or name is mandatory. Specify only one of them. I forgot that. Now let me go back and quickly change the operator. Going into the disag, 71 operators are there. Scroll down, pick up the operator that we created, define parameters, click on a new parameter, that is period ID. Period ID 4 is the weekly planning level as per the time profile that is being created. Click on OK, save. Cross check once again, the period ID is there. Great. Come back here, copy and disaggregate. Let me do a refresh once. Run copy and disaggregate Oh, it is still saying that time period is not possible. Maybe it's time for me to log out and log back. Logged out, logging in again, logging again. Going into the run, copy and disaggregate. I'll pick up my desired customer demand to look. So now you see this time horizon is also coming in, because last time I didn't give the period ID. That's why it is not coming in. It's also got failed. Next, run. Status, copy and disag. And I can also see the status in the application logs and can go and verify it there. Closing in, refresh. You see 3000, 2000, it gave 750 here and then 500 here based on the, the proportions that is being based in location shipments. I made this as a editable key figure, so I'll change this 100 and 100. So now I am making it equal. So now when I run the disag, now it disaggregates it to as per the, not the SNOP operator. Cancel it and disag. Now you see the split happened nicely, 625 and 125, based on the proportions. That is, system does the aggregation at product level, 500 plus 750, 1250. It's split. And also, the disaggregation expression can be used for normal disaggregations also, because there are 4 options that are available. If you have seen proportions and equal distribution and copy distribution. So now I can actually come here and let me just take off this, so that I made all these as editable, right? So, okay, I think I need a source also. So I'll come to this week 23. I'll say this is 1 and this is 2 and this is 1, this is 1, and then this is 500, this is 1000, be it any values system. And also I'll give a value of 1000 here, 1000 here, 1000 here. Okay, I'm saving it. So now what I'm trying to show here is that you maintain shipments at any rate. So I mean, it could be 1 2, or it could be 500,000, it could be 10,000 and 30,000, but system does the the disaggregation as per the proportions. So now here, simulate here. Now I'm doing a simulation, not running. I mean, just doing a because if I run the operator, it actually copies the values into the database. But this simulation is just, just a what if kind of a thing. Disaggregate customer demand to location demand. What happened to it? It's still processing, or I don't know why the simulation is not working, but let me see on that. I have not saved all the values. I saved it, right? So yeah, I mean it will. We can see the values. It finished. So 2,000, right? I mean two customers, one product, aggregation 2,000. System gave 666,667 here, 133 here, and there in the week 24, the disaggregation expression, that is shipments, is 1 1. That's why it gave 50%, and here this is the vice versa. So system gave this accordingly. Now I want to show it to you. We can run the same thing through the application jobs. Click on application job here. It will list all the jobs. Click on plus new job. First it will ask for template. If I mean, you can create a template and very well use it later on. So I'll click on copy operator. Next comes the scheduling options, that is start immediately. And then now the parameter section. So I need to first pick up the planning area, test config. Now I need to pick up the operators. System would display all the operators. You see copy customer shipments to location shipments. Click on this and then run it for a scenario that you want. Don't have any scenarios. Version is a base version, a mandatory one. Give any filters, just schedule it, or you can first check it and system gives that, you know. So mine is here, or I can come back to application logs, can also check it here. So this way, from the front end also, you can very well go and see what's the status of it. You see the status got finished here on top, and then also in the application job, so we can actually go and see the logs and all the details that are there inside. Right. So second thing is I want to show it to you guys about, you know, creating kind of a process chain. So for that, first we need to create a job template. Application job template is a name. So I'm creating a job template. So I'm clicking on create. So I'll say that test config, let's say demand planning process chain. So I gave a name, saying that this is a single run, or you know, or daily or hourly or minutes, so or maybe week. Pick up the pattern that you want to run it, and now clicking on maintain steps. So now here I can add steps. So the process chain, what's the first step that you want to add? First I want to, you know, run a copy operator. Okay, notice the second step. I want to run, first I'll do the you know, copying, and then I'll run optimizer. Next step is SNOP operator. Again, I'll run the disag, let's just say. I'll disaggregate the supply planning results from one level to another level, and then I'll take a snapshot of a few key figures. So 4 steps it has. And save job template. So now it will ask for the more details. Now I gave the steps that are there. Now I have to give the details of every step. What is a step 1? Operator type is copied. This got grayed out. Now we cannot change it. So now pick up the planning area, that is test config. Come on. This should autofill. So like, give a test config planning area and then pick up the operator from here, pick up the version, go to the step 2. So it is giving all the planning area. Test config is a planning area. Pick up the operator. Now whatever are available, it will list. Copy customer shipments, give a version, base version. Okay, and then another this is test config. Come on, please appear. So you can see that accordingly system is displaying based on the step that we have specified. System is displaying the input options. I mean the options that are required. Test config. Now I need to pick up the profile. So it will give me all these errors. Okay, I'll fill it up. What is the profile name? Optimizer. And what is a version? Version is baseline. From period time to time period subnetwork, you remember, so this is a mandatory one to run this thing. So we used to work on S12, right? So this is S12. Next, again, what is the third step? Planning area. Anyway, this won't autofill. Oh my god, give 4 parameters. Test config. This is disaggregation operator, right? So it will list all the disaggregation operators that are there. And while this is going on, guys, I mean, how about a session tomorrow? Are you guys interested to take a session tomorrow? So we have a deadline to finish the entire training by the next weekend, that is 24th. So I'm thinking that, let's take another session tomorrow, and if you guys are okay with it, or maybe we need to find another day and we have to stretch ourselves.
I'm fine.
Okay. Others, just think about it, and then give your concern to the team. We'll find an option. So yeah, I don't
Do
know
we
why
have
this
a,
is
are we going to have a class on a
not on Sunday Indian
Monday
time.
morning and Sunday, sorry, Sunday night for us?
Um, um, not sure. Not sure. I'm not sure. I'll update you guys. But tomorrow there's going to be a session. But after that, let's see. I'll communicate to you guys, because there's some family emergency. I flight back to my hometown, so I might need to do some traveling for one more day. So might not be available for one more morning. So yeah, I'll update you guys. But tomorrow there will be a session. We'll start with the demand planning activity. Okay. How it is taking a lot of time. So yeah, basically the concept is this, guys. First create a template, and then you see here there is this check. It will check the integrity of the chain that you have created, all the steps that are there, whether you gave the right information for it. Not, it will throw an error if it isn't there. and then you can maintain the steps. You can put them in order, like you start with copy, and then do a supply planning run, and then we're doing a disag and then snapshot, right? So you can change the order, basically change the steps. Oh, come on, what went wrong? Okay, yeah, so 4 again. Let me okay, let me go to the maintenance steps. I'll just delete, I'll just make just a 2, guys, to so that I can quickly give a values planning area. Oh, come on.
Copy paste next time, like instead of typing.
Yeah. So now I can click on check. System would tell me whether you can schedule the job with the changes you define. That means we are good to go. Maintain steps, change the sequence of it. Pick one and then bring it down or bring it up. Save job template. Display. It will display it in this format. Where is this? Okay, no. Let me save this. I don't want to take a chance. Saved it now. While it is taking time, you can go here again to the application job. Now we made a template, right? So now you can go to the application job and pick up the template that we have created. That is the test config demand planning process chain. Click on plus here. So uh, test config. I don't know why this should auto populate, but it didn't got saved or not. So yeah, I mean, it appears here, and then you pick it up and then you schedule it. It will get scheduled, or you can put it as a concurring, a recurring job, and like every week you want to do all these activities, so you can do that. So that's how you play with your uh, different jobs, or even kind of mimicking the process chains in APO, that you can schedule 5 different, 6 different, or any different operators, and then I mean, obviously we have to give the selections in a way that it makes logical sense, so that all these operators will result something. But for now here I randomly picked one copy operator and then randomly running and supply planning operator, which are not connected. But in real world, it's just the data would pass as a chain from one step to another step. Finally we reach an output. So that's it, guys. So again, there's some theory about the application job templates that I mentioned here. So application jobs is for any kind of a job. And when you create a template, you need to define one or more job steps. Each job steps needs one or more input parameters, such as a planning area or a forecast profile, depending on the type of the step. As we have seen, when I picked up the S&OP operator, it asked for the planning unit. When I click on forecast profile as one of the step, then it will ask me the kind of profile that it has to run, and etc., and the algorithms and etc. And when you create a template, you can decide which of these parameters are predefined and which of the parameters can be set when you schedule a job later on. So when you're running a job, you can further filter it out, and then you can schedule that job through the application job. So that option is also there. So what activities that we can do, we can define the steps and their order. We can change the order of the steps, and we can do settings for the job recurrence. So this is about the application jobs. I don't know, sorry for this, I don't know why this is getting hanged. I'm not sure, maybe some server issue or something. So yes, so that's it, guys. And any doubts in this?
Do we have how many functions like that? Like, we have a copy, disaggregate function, and other overall, like, how many functions we have?
Yeah. So if I go to the model configuration, so under the start here, we have planning operators and snapshot. We have seen snapshots. When it display SAP sample, it displays all the sample SAP planning areas, reason codes. Global configurations is one that we set a global configuration to, like, planning areas. How many key figures does this planning area should have, and other global things that are set across the across your system. Next is the planning operators. This is where we configured this thing. So there is one operator type called ABC. Basically classifying the products as per A and B and C. There is one advanced simulation, copy. Next is delete abandoned combinations. For example, here the combination is this digital watch NIDC 101 Amazon customer. If we are no longer using it, some combinations we can delete them after some time if the customer is gone out of our scope. So we can delete those abandoned combinations. System would wipe out those data because it will not have any data for that particular combinations, right? Next is a disaggregation. Next is a group operator. This got scrapped. The group operator is nothing but grouping multiple operators in. So this will, I think, in next release it will go out. Now we have these job chains. I just showed you create a new job template. So this is going out. Next is IBP forecast. This is type of operator which will enable to do the forecasting. So this is kind of a operator type which would be assigned to the system so that the system would enable the forecasting methodology to this particular system. So but to actually create forecast profiles, we need to go to the front end, demand planner, and then here we have to create a forecast model and we have to do with it. But this is kind of a backend thing. It shows that this is kind of operator type is there. Next is IO, inventory optimization. For inventory optimization, there is no dedicated app like the way we have our forecast models. We have to come here and pick up the uh, create the inventory optimization, this thing. Next is we have a KPI profiles, forecaster calculation, etc. Next is purge change history data. Purge is like deleting all the uh, data. So here this is change history data. There is one. Next is purge, normal purge operator. Next is SEM. That is the supply chain management, which is like heuristics and stuff. Next is a segmentation. Again, we have ABC here, and we also have ABC/XYZ segmentations. We have snapshots, the one that we have created with another thing. So again, that would be listed here, and then the snapshot redo. So these are the type of operators we have. And coming to the jobs, there are so many jobs. Like, we can schedule a job for activation also, or can schedule a job for checking the planning area. Like every day, I want to run this check planning area and see whether nothing is happening to my planning area. I want to do a sanity check kind of a thing. So every activity that we do inside IBP can be converted into a particular job, and we can schedule it, and then we can monitor it. But from an operator perspective, so these are the operators that we have, 15 types of operators.
Okay, thank you. And the one question before we close here, we have in the in IP or you know we have a function like an allocation functions and other things, right? How the system allocate, and then you can write your own custom custom BAPI or custom BADI to mm, to write the allocation function. So right
Mhm.
now here disaggregation function, you have given another key figure to choose the percentages.
Yes,
But
sir.
I want to read from somewhere else and get the data from the actual, read the actual data somewhere
Mhm.
where I'm still saving the data, get that data level into the different aggregation level, and then push it down or push it across. If I
Yes,
want
sir.
to do that my own custom, can I do that?
Yes, sir. I mean, you think of a scenario, like it could be any fancy thing. Think of it. Let me know. We'll both will work on. So it might take, obviously some more
Yeah, definitely.
helper key figures and some copy operators, and then we can finally come up with our, we can come up with the result. But we need to go with the careful understanding of, how we can transform from one level to another level, and utilize all these helper key figures and the copy and then the desag, etc. There's also another thing that is, if because we don't have any BAPI or body, so there is no custom implementations that are available. Only custom implementation is that there is something called L script here. L script is if we couldn't able to write a key figure calculation, because we are always, constrained with the configuration settings that we have here. That is like, the planning levels and etc. For example, I'll show you. So I'll say that, if the logic is that, so if the logic is that customer shipments is there, if the requirement is that I'll populate the first week of every month, I'll populate one shipment. So please copy that value. Like here, the Amazon DC1 is sending 1,000 on week 20. Copy the same value and put it across the next 4 weeks. If this is a requirement, then we cannot write with the key figure calculation logic. Uh, because if we have observed that this everything will work, where is our test? Where is the test source? So here the base planning law is week, prod, lock, cust. That means for every week, product, location, customer combination. So now system would have 1,000 in here for this combination, another 2,000 in here, another 3,000 in here. So now if we are saying that, take this combination but pick 1 week and populate to the next 3 weeks, it's not going to, we cannot actually do that. With attribute transformation, we can very well transform this 1,000 from this week, and then we can put it on the next week, or maybe do a offset. But this kind of dynamic, these things, and within the same combinations you wanted to do, that is kind of it cannot be done. But if that is a real requirement, we have to reach out to SAP. SAP will do a L script here. This is L script, and you cannot get L script at request level. Okay, fine. So So we cannot, SAP says that we shouldn't touch, the consultant shouldn't touch the L script. So this is how, if I click on L script, some fancy thing comes in. So this only SAP folks can understand, and then they will build something, and obviously they'll charge for some consulting fees. But we'll be made as a kind of a partner, so that we can learn something out of it, and then we can enable the testing and other activities. But this is at max customization that would go in.
Oh, okay.
And the second thing is that there is this hypercare support kind of a thing that SAP is coming in, where SAP is co-inventing with very big clients, with the clients that I have seen, Georgia Pacific and PepsiCo, and big clients, where SAP team also comes and sits with the entire S4 implementations, because we know SAP is becoming very aggressive in with all these implementations. So in some cases, if there is this very custom requirement, for example, for the supply planning algorithms or something like that, if the client is very big, the SAP will tweak it, and then try to give a custom made solution. So again, there is a scope for we can co-innovate with SAP, and then come up with custom solutions. But whatever custom that we can think of, SAP has to come in between. So we cannot build anything on the custom. So we
Yeah.
can, at max, this is just
If the release in the
reusable
cloud,
elements.
it is in the cloud, so it will be an issue and upgrade time another time because of new
Yes,
features.
sir.
It's not there.
Yes, so that's why SAP is always coming in, and yeah.
Thank you.
SAP is spending a lot of efforts and money on IBP. Do you think IBP will be successful for SAP? Yes, very well. It will definitely this thing. And if we have seen the roadmap, um, and one thing is SAP is, SAP will force the clients to migrate to IBP, because by 2024 or 25, SAP is going to stop APO, at least supporting APO. There won't be any new innovations coming in for APO, no OSS nodes, nothing after 2025. But it might be pushed for 1 or 2 years, but people are saying that at max 2025. After that, APO is gone, so the only option that is left with is IBP. And if you are transforming your operational system, that is ERP to S4, then obviously it makes more sense to migrate your planning systems also to the cloud, right? So that is IBP. And this is becoming more cheaper, because the entire maintenance has been done by the SAP. The costs will come down. And the other thing that I would say is the fanciness. SAP forcing everyone to move to IBP cloud. Yes, exactly. That's what. So how they are forcing, by discarding, or the phasing out their old products, their entire old portfolio. They are closing it. That's how you force your customers to do it, right? So like, if you remember, in my MBA days, we used to read this. The Nokia, there's this mobile which is having highest sales. People are buying only that product. They're not trying the other product. So what Nokia did, it just stopped manufacturing it. And that's how you make your customers to buy the new ones that are coming in. The other thing, I'll spend one more day on talking about how IBP will talk to other cloud applications seamlessly, without having any middleware or any configuration required. SAP now, as of now, SAP IBP will talk to Ariba application seamlessly. SAP IBP will talk to C4C Cloud for Customer seamlessly. That there will be few touch points, and we have to live with those touch points, and we'll have to be restrict ourselves to those touch points, like the sales lead data. When the sales people which are dealing with the C4C application, all the leads that they get from a particular customer, so they can update their value in C4C system. That could easily float back into IBP, and you can populate that in IBP key figure and use it for your demand planning activity, and see what your sales folks are saying regarding this particular product and this particular customer. That's one. Second thing is regarding the Ariba, is about the supplier stuff. So you have a demand plan, you run your supply plan, you will get three outputs. One is your transportation plan, production plan, and purchase plan. So system does the bomb explosion. You are making a car, it needs four tires. So you have to make 100 cars in plant one, northeast plant, and it requires 400 tires, right? If you maintain a particular supplier for it, like MRF is a supplier, that 400 will be gone to the MRF supplier. Now for a particular location, plant this, product this is tire, small tire, big tire, medium tire, etc. for this particular time bucket, like third quarter 2020. And now he can commit that. So he'll say that, okay, you're asking for 400, I'll give you 400. Or maybe he might say that I'll do only 300. He'll do it in his Ariba system, the supplier, and now that will again float back into IBP in a particular key figure. uh, he can see the supplier commit, and now he can very well change his supply plan based on the supplier input. So now this configuration, we don't have to do anything. This will not be any RISEF object. This is a seamless integration between IBP and Ariba. And this is just the starting thing. I think you can Google on it. So SAP is trying to make all these cloud applications talk to each other without any middleware, or it's a seamless thing. But we need to understand what is the source and what is the target key figure, and we have to fine tune our data accordingly, and then that's where the consultants comes in, right? So how we can pick up that supplier value from Ariba and transform it and change it in such a way that it makes sense to the IBP planner. So yeah, so by seeing all this, and another thing is about the machine learning algorithms. I don't know when this would really take off. SAP is investing a lot in machine learning algorithms, but I think by 2021 only, SAP has launched those machine learning algorithms, but they are not robust enough. Still working on it, but that is one of their high priority touch point, that they wanted to prioritize the machine learning algorithms. So especially for all the alerts and different stuff. Okay. So yeah, I think IBP might stay for some time in the market.
BPC also, it's a slowly they're facing away into BPC and pushing it to the IBP finance, like finance planning. They call it, but still it's under the same. But talking all these things, like the behind the scene, APO earlier used to use the BW. Now we know this is using the HANA, but is it going to create a HANA models or HANA table, or how is it? You created a key figure. You
That's
created
a HANA table,
attributes.
sir. Yes, it's a HANA
HANA
table.
tables.
Yes, sir.
So the behind the scene, if I go to the HANA model,
Yes.
if I go to the HANA model, so I would be seeing all these things with the app set. In the BPC world, we used to call it app set.
Hmm.
So there's all these things it used to create with the cube and app set and info objects, everything in the BW area. So
Yes,
this
sir.
also would be creating everything in the HANA system.
In the HANA table, yes, sir. So once you work with the integration team will integrate two different systems, S4 and IBP. When they're actually mentioning the source table and target table, when you look into the IBP tables, it will have a naming convention of HANA, HANA. So it's
So
all
in
HANA table. That's
HCI,
why.
suppose if I'm getting the data, all master data through HCI, like
Hmm.
say material master or material plant master, whatever, maybe Marcy or Mara. If I'm getting it there, so if I'm going through HCI, so I have to go through the IBP tables straight, right? First time to load the data.
Yes, sir. Yes, we have, as IBP team, we have to specify that these are the target. I mean, in this table, it has to come and sit in the product master table for this particular column called brand ID. You bring values and put it in here. So,
Okay.
so there we have to sit with them and write the documentation with them and also do the testing. So at the time, I'm saying that we can actually see the table names. It will have a naming convention of HANA. So that's why the reading of the key figure data and auto aggregation and disaggregation, they're so quick. So we have seen it at an Excel planning views. So that's how it became quick. And then the reading and also when we're running the optimizer things, we have seen it used to run less than a minute. And other things also, I do agree that the data set is less. It was only for a few products, but even then, with my experience, I'm saying, so even if it is like some 50 products and some 40 odd locations, some 20 customers, so imagine the multiplication and how many combinations that we get. Even then, it used to run for like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. So it was so quick.
Oh, okay. Because of the HANA.
Yes, sir. Because of the HANA. Okay, guys, then we'll touch base tomorrow and we'll start with the demand planning thing. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good time. Bye.